Hello, welcome to this update for the U.S. and Canada. So let's see what's happening. So we have some severe weather in the coming days, but now we have some mixed precipitation and some snow in parts of the west there. And let's see. So we also have today a possible area or two of heavy snow near Colorado, Wyoming, and some areas. Tomorrow shows more widespread snow in Wyoming, some heavy snow in Wyoming, Colorado, and all the way to Montana, more snow there. And shows still like uh, tomorrow a little bit of mixed precipitation, New England, and some mixed precipitation, even parts of California and New Mexico, Arizona. Then day 3 still shows snow in the Rockies there for like this is this is Wednesday, so yeah, be aware. Excessive rainfall, still nothing there, but like Tuesday still nothing. Then Wednesday we have that marginal risk there of some excessive rainfall because of the severe weather all the way from Texas to Wisconsin there. So be aware. And day 4 still a marginal from Texas to Kentucky, and day 5 a marginal still in Texas for Friday and Saturday in Oklahoma and New Mexico. So be aware there. The snowfall probabilities today that does show those higher probabilities in Colorado there, Wyoming, and those areas. Shows some snow probabilities in Oregon, Washington too, especially the higher mountains in Washington and in Oregon, and some in southern Montana too. But tomorrow, Tuesday, shows some very high probabilities throughout Wyoming there. Some heavy snow there, and those areas shows more Colorado, northern Utah especially, so be aware there. Parts of Colorado, northern Utah, but especially in Wyoming, so heavier snow. Day 3, some more snow in the west again, in Washington and Oregon. Day 4 shows more probabilities across the northwest, especially Oregon and Idaho. Day 5 for Friday shows some more on the west. Day 6 on the west, and day 7 maybe in the southern Rockies again. So be aware those areas. And then precipitation now shows this is Tuesday, shows tomorrow Tuesday that rain and snow in Wyoming, especially snow, more Colorado, shows a shower too in Florida. Then Wednesday shows that severe weather there, close to 1.5 inches in Missouri and Iowa and some areas, and more rain in the northwest. Day 3 shows more rain throughout Texas or Oklahoma on Thursday, Louisiana, and all the way into Wisconsin and Michigan, some more rain, and in the northwest again. Day 4 shows more rain, parts of Louisiana, Mississippi on Friday, and some other areas in the northwest. Day 5 shows more than in Texas, Oklahoma again on November 2nd, and more in the northwest in California and some areas, and shows some rain down there in Florida too. And day 6 on Sunday starts kicking up again in Oklahoma, Texas, where we might have a new system starting next Sunday, November 3rd, because next Monday shows almost 2 inches there between Oklahoma and Missouri and those areas. So be aware there that like late this week and early next week some heavy rain there. Then the total precipitation here it has all the way to like close to 5 inches between Oklahoma and Kansas during all these next 7 days, especially from Texas to Wisconsin, that heavy rain. So be aware in those areas. Shows more in Northern California and Oregon, Washington, those areas. So be aware there. And now for this storm in the west there, especially in Wyoming, this during the next 3 days shows the winter storm severity in index close to some moderate impacts in Wyoming and Colorado, so some moderate impacts in the mountains, shows even area 2 of major impacts. But this like the 3 day impacts. Like today shows more in Colorado, Monday, Tuesday a lot in Wyoming, and day 3 still a tiny hint in Wyoming, but be aware of that of those storms there. So like snowfall amount will be the main hazard with those major impacts there in the red in Wyoming. So the snowfall amount is the main hazard, but snow load does show a tiny hint in parts of Colorado, northern Wyoming. Ice, not much ice, maybe shows a tiny hint in Wyoming, but uh, mm, let's see, flash freeze, not really. Maybe something in Oregon, the higher mountains, and blowing snow will be another thing. So part of this will be blowing snow, especially in Colorado there. So be aware. And ground blizzard, not really anything. So be aware there. And be aware of the winter storm. We already have some winter weather advisories throughout the Rockies there. More freeze watches there in some areas, and like some red flag warnings parts of the plains, and be aware some wind advisories in the southwest and high wind watches, even some winter storm warnings already parts of Wyoming, Montana. We have some blizzard warnings southernmost Alaska, some winter storm warnings there, winter weather advisories, and some like high wind watches there too, and some heavy freezing spray in northern Alaska, and still some flood watches in Hawaii, some winter weather advisories in the top of the mountain there, Mount Loa or something. So be aware there, and yeah, but this changes all the time. This link is in the description. So the temperatures, they are still hot in the south there, shows still close to record temperatures, so some 90s and high 80s in parts of the plains there. Shows this is today's, the colder temperatures in the mountains, the northwest there, and then day one, minimum temperatures from tonight to Tuesday shows all the way to 19 Fahrenheit in parts of Maine, so very cold there still. New Hampshire, very cold in the north in those areas, shows some 20s in the across the west, some 30s in the Rockies, in the mountains there, so very cold those areas. Be aware there, and shows through like during the day, Tuesday, tomorrow, colder as well in the mountains of the west, so be aware of the colder temperatures. So like Sesame is still in the mid south, in Florida, Texas, and the southwest, but just some 70s in the southwest. But mainly Sesame is part of the Midwest and some areas. And then day two, minimum temperatures shows like some some very low 20s and teens parts of Wyoming, Tuesday to Wednesday, and Idaho, Montana, those areas. So be aware, like 13 Fahrenheit, 45 in California. Let's see some 30s in northern Maine still, but it's very cold across the west. So be aware there. And day three, max still very cold during the day on Wednesday in Wyoming and those areas, especially like Colorado and Idaho and Wyoming. And it shows those days in 90s in the south there, so still very hot there. And all the way to some 70s in the northeast again, close to 75 in New York on Wednesday. So yeah, some warmer temperatures. But then Wednesday night to Thursday morning does show those very low temperatures in the west again, especially in Wyoming there. If you go in closer, you you can see like some, let's see if it loads. Shows all the way to some 7 Fahrenheit, parts of western Wyoming, 9 Fahrenheit, 10 Fahrenheit, 11 Fahrenheit. So be careful, some very cold temperatures there. This is Wednesday night to Thursday. And the other areas show some lower 20s in North Dakota too, Minnesota, Montana, the Rockies in Colorado should get some like single digits in the mountains there, and some very cold temperatures. So be aware there. And day four, for Thursday during the day, does show still though those days in the southeast, and still cold there in the mountains of the northwest, and some 70s in the northeast again during the day on Thursday, and then shows more more cold in the west Thursday to Friday morning, especially Friday morning, so like 20s in the north, the some 30s all the way to northern Missouri, so like very low teens and 20s in parts of the mountains in the west again, on Friday, so be aware there. And show like Friday in the afternoon, still some is in the south there, and more like far is the mountains of the northwest, especially the high mountains, so like teens and 20s there in the high elevations, even during the day. And then Friday night into Saturday, does show still some negative temperatures in the northwest, some 20s, teens, 18. So very cold there still. This is Saturday morning, some very cold temperatures there. So be aware in the northwest. This is just the temperatures. The wind chills might be even colder. So be aware. It shows the northeast on Saturday morning at the some 30s again in 20s. So be aware, but especially the 20s in the west there, in those teens. So be aware. And now shows on Saturday afternoon those warmer temperatures there in the south. So some is and stuff, but some far is in the north, especially in the northwest. Those are low temperatures in the mountains. So be aware those areas. And now uh, does show on Sunday morning some 21, 17, 16 Fahrenheit in southwestern Montana, parts of Wyoming and Idaho, so very cold there still. And some high 20s Fahrenheit in New England too on Sunday morning, and the Sierra Nevada and California in many areas. Very cold, be aware there. And like day 7 max for Sunday, the next Sunday during the day, show some is in the south again, some 60s, 50s in the north, and very cold in the mountains still there. So be aware those areas. And the max wind gusts for Tuesday today shows some higher winds in the plains, close to 50-mile-per-hour gusts, especially in southern Wyoming and northern New Mexico, more than 60-mile-per-hour occasional gusts. Southern Colorado too shows more like Nevada there, and parts of California, especially southern Nevada, close to 70-mile-per-hour gusts in some of those mountains there. So be aware. Now the 48-hour snowfall until Wednesday at 2 p.m. So does show those higher snowfall totals in Wyoming there, close to 12 to 16 inches, especially like some higher elevation. Wyoming could get reports of like 15 inches. Colorado shows some 17 inches in some higher peaks there. So be aware of that snowfall. And more snow parts of Washington and Idaho, some in Oregon. So yeah, be aware across those areas. So let's see the severe weather. First, the fire. We do have some critical fire today because of those very record temperatures there, the heat, and plus that wind. We have the dry fuels there, so be aware. So some critical fire danger expected, and some elevated from Nevada to Kansas. So be aware of that critical. And then still tomorrow show some elevated air from Texas to Nebraska, and the severe weather still nothing today, just some storms in a few areas in the green. Be aware, but nothing crazy. Day 2 shows the marginal from Oklahoma to Wisconsin, so be aware. And still no tornado threat, but wind threat 5% tomorrow Tuesday, and hail some like 5% as well. So be aware there. Thunderstorm development may begin in the late period from upper Mississippi Valley and southwestward across the plains. Local limited risk of hail, wind warrants continuation of level 1 marginal to Tuesday night. So be aware. Some isolated severe storm or two there on Tuesday. But Wednesday still shows that big slight risk there from northern Texas to Iowa, and the marginal from Texas to Wisconsin. So 15 and 5% there. Let's see strong locally severe storms keep producing severe wind gusts, large hail, especially for Wednesday from the southern plains to northeastward towards the middle Mississippi Valley and upper Midwest. So be aware those areas there. Wednesday might be a small tornado threat, but many wind and hail. day 4 through 8 doesn't show nothing, so be aware. And yeah, the warnings in Canada, we have a winter storm watch, parts of Gidjo Heaven, parts in Nunavut, some snowfall warnings in Baker Lake, and some wind warnings, parts of northern Quebec, and some freezing rain warnings in northern Manitoba for some freezing rain happening now. We have some snowfall warnings in northwestern Nova Scotia and some snowfall advisories in Yukon there. So as you can see here, special blowing snow advisory in Dempster, Yukon, special weather statements for some heavier snow in Yukon the next few days, the wind warnings in Quebec. Nunavut have the winter storm watch there. It's interesting if you read here the information. This is some high wind gusts and snow may give some blizzard conditions by Wednesday morning, so be aware. And like Manitoba, that freezing rain happening now. Periods of freezing rain will continue parts of extreme northeastern Manitoba until late Monday afternoon, so be aware there. Today's Monday, yes, so this must be almost ending, but be aware there. Those alerts always change. So let's see if for all the areas here now. So the European model does show that freezing rain happening parts of Manitoba there, northern Manitoba. So be aware. Shows some snow in Nunavut, as the mixed precipitation across Idaho, parts of Washington. The snow, alright, some snow in British Columbia and Alberta, and even shows a freezing rain or two, and shows the snow in Alaska, already happening there. Even shows some freezing rain parts of Alaska, and 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 the snow, but it's just a model. The conditions on the ground might be different, but it does show some snow and wet snow across eastern Canada there. And then Tuesday could continue to show more snow in Nunavut, especially those areas the winter storm watch, and shows that front in Quebec, more snow Tuesday into Wednesday into Labrador, and the models are really hinting some freezing rain in Quebec, like Wednesday morning there near Labrador Sea and some areas. So it's really showing like the European shows more freezing rain there, shows like more rain and wet snow behind it, shows Thursday nights some more snow northern Quebec, and even shows still some mixed ice and freezing rain some areas of southern Quebec on Thursday night. So be aware, that's Wednesday night actually. And then the GFS is also showing more freezing rain in eastern Quebec there Wednesday afternoon. So gotta watch for eastern Quebec there on Wednesday. So be aware. And later on, that front goes, shows more snow in the northwest. We have that system in Alaska there, shows that's the snow there now, and the snow affecting southern Yukon. So shows Tuesday, tomorrow, and Wednesday more snow in Yukon, northwestern territories, British Columbia. So be aware of the snow those areas. And does show later another big system in Alaska, November 1st, shows more rain there, some snow, and even a freezing rain or two on October 31st, some areas there. So be aware those areas. And here for like wind gusts, that the European does show those stronger winds there, parts of the southwest in California, some areas. So today does show there like Tuesday, so today Monday into Tuesday. So now there's those stronger winds I showed you in the other place. Some gusty winds there, and then Tuesday the 29th shows that those winds really kicking up in New Mexico. The European model has reports 62 mph gusts, although it's 65 mph gusts. Southern Colorado and New Mexico across the plains has 48 to 50 mph gusts too, and like some gusty winds like southern Arizona near New Mexico, northern Mexico too. So be aware Tuesday afternoon, tomorrow, those strong winds there. It kind of continues into the plains on Wednesday. Still a gust wind or two there in the plains, and then yeah, kind of goes near the Midwest. Friday shows a strong wind or two near the Great Lakes on Friday, even the Northeast and like southern Quebec, but nothing crazy. So be aware, but it does show some stronger winds near like Nova Scotia and some areas by November 2nd there. So we watch that. So be aware, in Alaska we have this, uh, that system now, a gusty wind or two near western Alaska, but yeah, and then it showed like as many as southern Alaska on on October 30th, more than 54 mile per hour gusts with a system there, and then show like another system comes later, the southern Aleutian Islands, some areas there, but the real thing is this system on November 1st. This is a very impressive system on the models there. The European model supports 66 mile per hour gusts, parts of the Aleutian Islands there, November 1st. Into November 2nd, it has reports of like 62 mile per hour gusts, some spots are up to 73 mile per hour gusts in the Aleutian Islands on Friday, November 1st, and it keeps going there. So some very high gusts in those areas. Then later on Saturday, November 2nd, the Europeans ordered 72 mile per hour gusts in Sand Point there and some other areas. So we have to watch this next system, southern Alaska, and eventually some areas of British Columbia. On the 3rd shows slightly gustier winds, but nothing crazy. Mostly in Alaska there. Shows more northern Alaska, November 3rd, but yeah, so be aware those areas. But this is just one model. This forecast might change. The GFS for Tuesday tomorrow, the 29th, does show some very strong winds in New Mexico, too, in Colorado, in the plains. So be aware. And the icon is very crazy too. This is like 66 mile per hour gusts. That there's the hurricane too, shows some very strong winds there. The hurricane has close to 75 mile per hour gusts, parts of southern New Mexico. It has like some 73 mile per hour gusts, 68 in Colorado. So be aware of those winds. And then the hurricane takes those winds into the plains too. Some gusty winds there, and still in New Mexico, a spot or two there of strong winds. So be careful. And now let's see. So we have those strong winds near Hudson Bay and Nunavut. They'll show those stronger winds Tuesday afternoon, tomorrow, northern Quebec there, and those areas. And then like into Wednesday shows maybe something, but it really kicks up in Nunavut, like Wednesday the 30th there, close to 94 km per August, parts of northern Manitoba and Nunavut especially. And then Thursday shows more northern Quebec on the 31st, northern Labrador. So be aware those areas. And the west is still quiet in terms of major storm systems, but might have some stronger winds in coastal British Columbia there, on like Wednesday the 30th, some areas along the coast, some larger waves and stronger winds there. Be aware, but nothing that crazy. Even like Oregon, Washington, and some areas there might be a little bit more bumpy. So be aware. And now the temperatures in Canada are still very cold there, so like minus 21 Celsius, minus 4, minus 8. In Quebec, some minus 2, minus 4, so very cold. And then like this fluctuates a lot. Um, Ahead of that cold front might be warmer parts of southern Ontario on the 30th, but especially like on the 31st shows like in New Brunswick some 17 degrees, and like on Friday the 1st. So yeah, you'll be quite warmer ahead of the cold front, but like especially southernmost Ontario there, close to 22 degrees on the 30th. But behind that shows such a really cold temperatures. Most of Alberta, British Columbia, and like Saskatchewan, northern Manitoba, some very cold temperatures, minus 13 in Northwestern Territories and Nunavut, and then Labrador and Quebec, and then let's see on the 31st, that cold front comes down, shows more like minus 2, minus 3 in Ontario, Quebec, and this kind of fluctuates. But after November 2nd, we have those temperatures coming further south, like some minus 4 southern Quebec on the 2nd of November, shows some minus 3, minus 11, very cold across the west, like Saskatchewan, Alberta, British Columbia. And then this will be on November 3rd, shows a -3, -6 again, so some very cold temperatures there. In northern Canada, some areas all the way to -25 Celsius, especially parts of like northwestern territories, -27 degrees in some areas, so very cold there. Stay safe. So in Alaska, we have still some -7 Fahrenheit, 15 Fahrenheit, so some very cold temperatures. So like, and now I already show some colder temperatures. Just southeastern Alaska, some 38 Fahrenheit, but most areas are very cold, all the way to -14, -15 Fahrenheit. So be aware, and shows those temperatures continue there. So -18 Fahrenheit sometimes. Northern Alaska, southern Alaska, so 19, 13 Fahrenheit. So be aware in those areas. Very cold. Might be less cold in the Aleutian Islands because of the influence from the ocean, but very cold those areas. So be aware. The rain, the rain accumulation does show more there at parts of Ontario because of that cold front. Shows here so like 60 millimeters there, 50 millimeters, 40 millimeters. So be aware. And this is until November 2nd. Shows the snow in Yukon, those areas, some heavy rain, southern Alaska, in some areas there. And after November 4th, we'll likely have that other system in the plains, already show more than 6 inches in Texas, Oklahoma, in some areas early next week. Depends on the model. The GFS is a little bit less, so we'll keep monitoring that. But be aware, the snowfall totals, the European, so until the 31st, it has that system Wyoming there. So the European does have like some here some 8 inches of snow, 10 inches, 11 inches, parts of Wyoming, but especially Colorado has a part of like 16 inches, 6 inches in Oregon, some more snow too. And until the second, it already has more snow in Oregon, the Northwest, some 23 inches, parts of California too. So be aware. But Alaska, those mountains there, shows all the way to 83 inches of snow. Southern Alaska, 50 inches more across those areas. So be aware. Most of southern Alaska that heavier snow there. Some in the Aleutian Islands, but mainly like southern Alaska. A snow shower too, northern Alaska. But be aware there. The European model also shows some snow in Minnesota, into Wisconsin there, and Iowa, and the icon was showing even more parts of Minnesota there, but the GFS only has a tiny hint. So be aware, the GFS is more Wyoming, Colorado, those areas too. And let's see here. So until November 2nd, the European, wait, here it has more snow in southern British Columbia there, some mountains, especially in Alberta, a little bit more snow. Northwestern British Columbia, it has more parts of Yukon, especially that system Yukon, more than 20-30 centimeters of snow on the next 5 days. Shows more in Nunavut there, some more snow. Shows a tiny hint in northern Saskatchewan, Manitoba, but mainly in Ontario. See the line of snow there. For that front, more snow, northern central Ontario into Quebec, northern Michigan, and parts of Quebec into Labrador, even northeastern, northwestern Nova Scotia, and parts of Newfoundland a little bit. So be aware. Those areas, the icon is a similar thing. The snow in Quebec even has a tiny hint in southern Manitoba and Saskatchewan. So yeah, be aware those areas. And let's see if there's anything else interesting, but generally this. Be careful with the snow there, that wind and the winter weather systems, the severe weather the coming days.